What's up, YouTube world? This is Steven again. It is currently 12:37 a.m. on March 5th of 2019, and I wanted to do something special for today because I would like to welcome you all to my overall 200th video on my YouTube channel. This is my 200th video ever since I started this. That's pretty surprising to me. It doesn't feel like that many, but I wanted to do something special for you guys. And as you all know, I am a writer, and excuse me, burped there. What I have been working on is a collection of short horror stories, and I've been doing this all throughout like my writing of my books and stuff. And I started this after I finished Paranormal Drivers. I have 6 stories in here so far, and and just because of a 200th video, I want to share one with all of you. And this is inspired by the Mr. Nightmare YouTube channel on YouTube. I was about to say on Facebook, but this is inspired by the Mr. Nightmare YouTube channel. But none of these stories are from him, and all these stories are fiction, by the way. So none of these happened to me. But yeah, here we go. I'm going to read off to y'all one of my 6 short horror stories, and I'm going to read to you my 5th one. It's titled Trophies. Here we go. This was on Halloween night a couple of years ago. I hope no one judges me, but I was 16 years old at the time and still went trick-or-treating. My parents did not like the fact that I was this old and still went out on Halloween night for candy, but they let me go on my own since they thought I was old enough. I wore my costume that I wore for high school spirit week. It was a mixture between a pirate and a zombie. A pirate outfit with rotting zombie flesh for skin. I was almost finished for the night, but I wanted to go to a few more houses. These houses were in a cul-de-sac. There were 5 of them, and they all had their porch lights on. I got 2 fun-sized candy bars from the first house, a pack of gum from the second house, a $1 bill from the third house since they ran out of candy, and a share-sized package of bite-sized candy at the 4th house. The 5th and final house I arrived at looked like all the other houses around it, except it was a lot less decorated. I rang the doorbell twice, and the person answered the door within a few seconds. He looked down at me, and I said, "Trick or treat." He told me, "Hi, I love your costume. Hang on, I will be right back." He went back into the house to get some candy. When he got back to the door, he said, "You arrived at just the right time. I have 2 more pieces of candy left," and handed me 2 full-sized candy bars. He then proceeded to tell me, "I have a better idea. Have you had dinner yet?" I said to him, "Yes, I have, but what are you making?" He stated, "I have some legs that are just minutes from coming out of the oven. Come on in and I will serve you a couple." I was getting ready to tell him that I was not interested since I ate before going out, but he forced me inside before I could say anything. He was a lot bigger than I was, even though I was on the football team at my high school. I am on the shorter side because I was a running back. Even though I weigh 170 pounds, I am only 5'6", and I have stopped growing. Even though the man looked like he was in his 50s, he was at least 6'7" and about 270 pounds. When I got inside, the place was covered with trophies, but I am not talking about the trophies you win at sporting events. The trophies I am talking about are animals. There were deer, moose, and elk heads mounted on the wall above the fireplace in his living room. A full-size lion trophy in another room between the living room and kitchen. A bear rug under the dining room table. But the one that mainly freaked me out was the tiger head that was hanging over his dining room table, had 2 light bulbs popping out of its eye sockets and 1 light bulb coming out of its mouth. I could hear him pouring something into a glass. After he did, he asked me, "Would you like something to drink?" "What is that?" I asked him. He said to me, "It is fruit punch." It looked darker and thicker than any fruit punch I've ever seen in my entire life, so I proceeded to tell him no thank you before he drank the entire glass in one big swig. In fact, the legs he was making did not smell like anything I recognized. I was starting to get a little worried and suspicious. The man's teeth were stained from whatever he drank when he told me, "I'm getting ready to take the legs out. Have a seat," and pointed at one of the dining room chairs. I asked him, "May I use your bathroom?" "You will need to use the one upstairs," he replied. "The toilet downstairs does not flush." I made my way upstairs, taking 2 steps at a time. When I made it all the way up the stairs, something smelled off. I could not describe it, but something sure did not smell right. After I could smell it, I saw a dim, orange flickering coming from one of the rooms upstairs. I ran towards it, and I could tell the smell was coming from that room once I got closer. The second I made it to the room, I looked in and almost threw up instantly. Hanging above the fireplace in this room were 3 human heads stained in blood. The one on the right was that of a man who had no hair. The one in the middle was a woman with long brown hair, one of her eyes was missing, and her tongue was sliced off. The one on the left was the head of another man. This one looked a lot younger, but the top of his head had patches of hair missing, dried spots of blood stained his neck, and part of his spine was dangling below his neck. There was a dead female body on the bed in the room. The bed sheets were stained with her blood. She was completely naked and was missing her head, both arms, and one of her legs. The orange flickering that I saw earlier was coming from the fireplace. Inside it were 2 arms from the lifeless woman. The 2 arms from the lifeless woman. They were spinning in the fire by rotisserie forks. After witnessing this, I began to connect the dots. When he said, "I have some legs that are just minutes from coming out of the oven," he was talking about human legs. The drink he was pouring into the glass was human blood. I shook my head with my mouth wide open and told myself, this guy is a cannibal. The next thing I knew, the man was halfway up the stairs when he called out, "Is everything okay up here?" My heart stopped. I could not speak. My only instinct was to run and beat him to the bathroom at the very end of the hallway. I was very fast since I was a running back, but he had very long strides. I could feel his feet pounding the floor behind me. I made it to the bathroom, closed the door, and locked it about 2 seconds before he could get to it. He ran full speed at the door, rammed into it, and it split the slightest touch down the middle. He ran up to the door again and began rattling at the doorknob and shaking the door violently, which made the crack down the middle split slightly more. He yelled, "Open the door!" I did not answer him. I just wanted to figure out a way to get the hell out of his house. "Once I get this door open, you are next," he yelled. After he told me that, I looked behind and saw a window. I knew calling the police was out of the question because it would take minutes for them to get here, and the man was seconds away from breaking the door down. In this case, I opened the window and looked out. There was a small overhang below the window. I climbed out the window, grabbed the sill, and dropped about 1.5 feet on top of the overhang below. After I landed, I controlled my slide down the overhang, grabbed the gutter, dropped 2 more feet, and landed safely on the ground below. Once I landed, I could hear through the open window the man breaking through the door. I escaped with literally seconds to spare. I ran away from his house and disappeared into the vast crowd of trick-or-treaters. After I made myself scarce enough, I left and made my way home without a single piece of candy that I received. I informed my parents about what happened. My dad made a police report and the man was caught a couple days later. He was sentenced to life in prison with a possible death penalty. To think that I could have died that night still haunts me to this day. Needless to say, that is the last time I ever went trick-or-treating. I get my candy at the grocery store from now on. It sucks that I have to pay for it, but it is a lot easier and definitely a lot safer. So that is my 5th story in my short stories collection. I am thinking of ideas for a seventh one right now, but I thought I thought it was a good idea to share that with you guys just because it's my 200th video and I wanted to do something nice for you guys as my 200th video milestone. So I hope you liked it, and let me know what you guys think and what you guys felt and how the story went and what you liked about it and stuff like that. So if you liked what you saw in this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and comment below. And I will see you guys next time with another video. This is Steven signing out.